Welcome to Passion Talk, an inspirational and immersive series of talks by the Times of India and Times Passion Train. From the fossil fields of indigenous dinosaurs and the only home to Asiatic lions outside Africa, to the art of the Neolithic cave paintings and architectural marvels of Jain and Hindu temples of Somnath and Dwarka. Gujarat is both a natural and a man made wonder. The fortified city of Junagadh is steeped in history, while Vadodara is called the cultural capital of the state for its seamless fusion of past and present. But one city that has won admiration from across the world is Ahmedabad, also declared India's first World Heritage City by UNESCO in 2017. The soul of a country lies in its heritage cities, and a visit to any big metropolitan city is incomplete without peeping into its past to its old precincts. What would Israel be without Jerusalem or Croatia be without Dubrovnik? Ahmedabad, for all its modern infrastructure and technological advancement, is still a lesson in history and culture. The walled city is located on the eastern banks of Sabarmati River. The original 12 gates meant to fortify the zone from enemies still stand in their place with carvings and calligraphy on them. The city presents a rich architectural mix from the Sultanate period, notably the Bhadra citadel, walls and gates of the fort city, and numerous mosques and tombs. We start by discussing World Heritage City of Ahmedabad. Let's welcome our guest for today, Mr. Prabhat Kumar Ghosh, convener in Tech, Gujarat, and chairman Heritage Conservation Committee of Ahmedabad for over 10 years, and Mr. Devashish Nayak, a conservation architect and social entrepreneur. Both gentlemen had a big role in getting Ahmedabad its heritage tag. Welcome to Passion Talk, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you,
start.
sir.
I'll start with you, Mr. Nayak. You interestingly call heritage cities inner cities. As director of Ahmedabad University's Center for Heritage Management, it has been your endeavor to preserve and conserve the historic old cores of a city and reverse urban decay. Please take us through your journey in Gujarat from the time in 1996 when you were invited by Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you for inviting me for the talk. And very interestingly, me and Mr. Ghosh are together in the interview. And if you remember that my coming to Ahmedabad is Mr. Ghosh is instrumental. And in '96, he knew about my work in Calcutta. And as you know, I was born there in Jorasanko, just behind Tagore's house, and working in the North Calcutta, the heritage part. And Mr. Ghosh knew about this work and suggested to the municipal corporation in Ahmedabad that why not Devashish to do something with the heritage of. As you know, the people of Ahmedabad are always very active and taking a lot of initiative. And person like Mr. Ghosh being active in the heritage sector, they put all this process together.
Okay. Uh, Mr. Ghosh, you've been a strong advocate for a need for each district to have conservation committee. Uh, why do you feel so? And what has been your experience in Gujarat so far? It's been one fascinating experience. Please take us through that.
Well, going to the history of Gujarat, I found mercantile interests played a very, very strong role in shaping the city, shaping the culture, and patronizing various philanthropic things. It is going back to almost 1,000 years. Now, in that also, recently a book has been published called Textile Age, beginning from 1240 or 1250 up to 1840. Now, that particular thing is bringing out absolutely vividly Gujarat's total hold over the Arabic world. So far the textile trade is concerned, Gujarat textiles have found place in Morocco, Spain, and other parts, going to other parts of Europe also. Gujarat cotton textile was going to China. China was sending silk. Now, this is a fascinating story. Some of the elements which have been found in Cairo have been carbon dated. There are three centers of cotton trade from India. One is, of course, Bengal, very fine cotton, muslin. Other was Vizag. Originally, it was Bharuch. Then Cambay became the main trading center. And Ahmedabad's selection of the site as a capital also was its proximity comparatively close link with the Cambay. Because whatever was being collected by the Ahmedabad traders were being sold through Cambay port. So this kind of hold over the entire Arabic world, going up to the Northern Africa, and also a little bit of Europe. That is a great thing in Gujarat. These are all recorded. You get the things. This is the thing. And when textile trade was taken over by the man-made cloth with 1788 or say 1820 onwards, lo and behold, it is immediately switched over to the particular Ahmedabadis, switched over the primary products, indigo, opium, and cotton. So they minted money out of that. So, but whatever money they got, peculiarly, reasonable sum was always spent on various kinds of philanthropic things, be it college, be it school, be it hospital, research center, all along it happened. This is, I thought, is the heritage of Gujarat. Earn money, use it for a good purpose, and see it is something concrete. It is not just philosophical discussion for a long time. It is basically something very, very concrete which can come out of that. Be it PRL, be it IIM, all these things. So this is the heritage of Gujarat. It is the heritage of Gujarat. I consider it to be the heritage of Gujarat, most prominent heritage of Gujarat.
And interestingly, both of you come from a different state. You've grown up in particular neighborhoods. You came to Gujarat and do suddenly then take up this movement, which is getting the World Heritage tag to a city. Take us through that journey. First, how did the idea come to you? What did you observe? Very initial observations, and then the entire journey. If we can start with Mr. Ghosh first, considering he got Mr. Nayak to Gujarat as well.
Okay, my entire thing started. Again, I'm indebted to a Bengali, Ashok Mitra ICS. After he came out, I mean, demoted the post of Census Commissioner, he got a book published that is Wood Carvings of Gujarat. That was in 1962. I happened to have seen that. And I felt fascinated by the beautiful carvings which I saw, the printing of those things. Then when I came to Gujarat, there was Mr. N.R. Desai, then TDO. He saw my interest. He took me one day from lane to by lane to another blind lane to various places in Khadia, an old city of Gujarat. And I was totally floored. I got a municipal diary published with the wood carved prints of the photographs of the wood carved things in the old city. But that was just the beginning of it. I started comparing and reading about it. Then Debashish came. When Debashish came, I was almost on my point to go out of Ahmedabad. But Debashish took it over. And it is his individual effort which brought in various things of the intricate carvings and the old cities of Gujarat to the focus of many other persons. It is
Lovely.
not a monument.
Debashish, why don't you take us through the journey from here?
See, as you know, I'm from Calcutta, particularly from North Calcutta, which is should be the World Heritage City by now, because it has got all the potential. But I was always very, because my father's business was making museums, so I have been very much exposed to this artistic endeavor, traveling and looking at how it is. And after I joined architecture, I did my architecture from Baroda. So that was my journey with Gujarat coming in 1980s. And then I realized that if you want to do something with heritage, what are the ancient cities. I always worked throughout my life with the municipal corporation. So my first involvement was in Jerusalem in Israel. So Jerusalem was my first started, and then I did my study on conservation in Rome. So I was very fortunate that for working on the heritage, I had almost 10 years of experience of traveling the major historic cities of the world, and as well as I got the support of Aga Khan Foundation to work all over Middle East, and then later part in Eastern Europe to have an overall idea about the world heritage and how they are being managed. And while working in Calcutta for this North Calcutta revival, we realize that the support of government is very important, because a lot of policy level change, a lot of people's participation is absolutely important. So when I was traveling in 90s across India, I met Mr. Ghosh. That time he was the administrator of the Municipal Corporation of Ahmedabad, and he saw my work. And then in 96, 97, I was here, and that is the. Then I got the invitation. That time I realized that if you want to bring in change nationally, you have to work with the government. So when municipal corporations initiative I really liked, and that was my decision to come here, and then realize that I have to be here, because you can't do it in a remote control, because it needs day-to-day support of the people, support of the community. So that's why I started working shifted to Ahmedabad.
Remarkable,
started
and
my
very
journey.
rightly pointed out, Mr. Nayak and Mr. Ghosh, both of you, that support of authorities, support of administration, support of responsible bodies is essential to, once you've undertaken the journey to be a World Heritage City. Do elaborate the support that you would have got from Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation and Gujarat Tourism in your journey since 95, 96 onwards?
Uh, well, I mean, yeah, Mr. Ghosh, please.
No, you go ahead with it. I will tell the legal part of it.
See, as an outsider, I had to understand how the government work, and municipality people of municipality being very friendly. And I stayed in the old city for a couple of years to understand the support of the community, and I quietly built it up, weave together. And one of the major thing was to make people of Ahmedabad appreciate Ahmedabad. That was the primary work. And in that case, we launched officially the Heritage Walk, which is still running every day from Swaminarayan Mandir, Kalupur to Jama Masjid, Mandir se Masjid. In fact, this experience helped me to do it, replicate it all over India. To wherever I did that walk, it always has to be Mandir to Masjid or Masjid to Mandir, that really connected people to understand their own city. In fact, when a people from a pole, old city people comes for the heritage walk, and tells me that, my God, I'm born here, but I never seen this. So that was the very primary factor, and eventually, and then the Times of India, the amazingly the media, and particularly Times of India, have this last 20 years they have been publishing on heritage of Ahmedabad like anything. That really picked up, and later all other media picked it up, and we kept then we celebrated the birthday of Ahmedabad, celebrated the foundation day of Ahmedabad, celebrated the old families of Ahmedabad, like Manik Baba, who had a truce with Ahmed Shah for the founding of the city. So we make the history alive for the community. I think that was the very big important. That's why many projects we have done in Ahmedabad is all supported by the people of Ahmedabad. That was the like the of various poets, Kavi Dalpatram, Akha Bhagat, all the famous literary, and those statues are actually constructions are paid by the private bodies and trusts. So what Mr. Ghosh mentioned, that people of Ahmedabad's major credit of Gujarat, actually, you earn money, but you spend the money for a very good purpose. I mean, if without their help, I mean, that's really truly deserve that Ahmedabad being the first World Heritage City in India. That truly credit goes to the people of Ahmedabad.
Absolutely remarkable. And Mr. Ghosh, the legal support that you received over all these years that you were going to be speaking about?
Yeah, first thing is the regulations for conservation of the heritage properties. One, uh, setting up a committee for heritage conservation. Two, third thing, getting a list of the heritage buildings published and giving it a legal sanctity. These three things are the very, very important thing without which nothing could be done. Other states are also following nowadays. And Ahmedabad's credit lies in this fact. Elsewhere, the things which are getting projected, listed are only public buildings. Ahmedabad, it is mostly private buildings. Entire port, the old city, is entirely private. And it's very difficult a task to make people understand it is private property for the God, but you have got a right to preserve it, you have got a duty to preserve it. So this thing is the unique thing in Hyderabad. Now, Hyderabad, for instance, they are touching only the public properties. They are not going into the private property that much. Same thing in Bangalore, Karnataka. There are a lot of beautiful private properties. They thought it better to go for the public properties first, then private properties dekha jayega, sort of thing. So today's context, most important thing is that the private properties are heritage properties. And if the land under those properties are very, very costly, how to get them preserved with proper compensation to the persons who are forgetting about development there. There's a very, very critical economic point which has got to be settled before we go in for the conservation of the property. Yeah, it is across India.
Great. And
So TDR is
two gentlemen who came from different states, made Gujarat their home, are as Gujarati as anyone right now. But still, let me question the tourist in both of you. Uh, which are your popular must-visit places in Ahmedabad, which you'll recommend? I'll start with you, Mr. Ghosh. You've been there longer. You've seen city evolve. Neighborhoods that you suggest anyone coming to Ahmedabad must visit?
any of my friends Calcutta, particularly from the Calcutta University, I first take them to Rani Sipari Mosque, Rani Sipari's Mosque or Sipari Mosque. And then I take them to various lanes and bylanes of Khadia area, particularly near about the old Sarafai. That time they used to allow the people inside, or special permissions. I used to take them inside that Sarafai Haveli. These are the two things. They don't have time. So these two things you must, Rani Sipari Mosque and the Sarafai Haveli.
Okay. And Devashi?
In fact, the first tour of Ahmedabad was given to me by Mr. Ghosh in the 90s, and the first thing he took me to Swaminarayan Mandir, Kalupur. It is the almost 200 years old, massive wooden haveli. So that was the must, I think, should be visited. And there are several small lanes and bylanes and wonderful havelis. So the Saravai Haveli Mr. Ghosh mentions definitely is worth seeing, and they are converting it to a museum recently. And there are various mosques, including Rani Sipri Mosque, and there are Siddhi Sai Jali, the, almost the symbol of Ahmedabad. And there are small shrines in the old city. If you know the stories, they're like the something called Hasti Bibini Gokhlo. Like a small niche. It's such an important story.
Okay. And Mr. Ghosh, take us through this journey of World Heritage Tag. How was the
Yeah.
journey in specific to Ahmedabad, and what does this tag mean? And then we'll come to Mr. Nayak to take his views on it.
The World Heritage City tag, actually it is World Heritage Site. There's nothing called World Heritage City. We call it World Heritage City. Actually, it is a World Heritage Site. The entire city is a World Heritage Site. That is the way to describe it. Now, initial period, after the committee was formed, legal setup was done, regulations were made. Thereafter, the then Chief Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, he suggested that we should go in for the tag of World Heritage City in a international meet held in Sept. Thereafter, the all-out effort was made. The man who was involved in getting the dossier prepared for it was Mr. Rabindra Bhai Vasavada. He prepared the detailed dossier in respect of all the buildings, which he listed, freshly listed, and that was presented to the authorities, UNESCO authorities, which accepted it. Initially, they didn't accept it. They said, no, it should be, wait for some time. But when the meeting took place, the explanation which was given convinced the people that this really deserves to be selected as a World Heritage Site. And that there, the detailed dossier of each and every building which were listed is there. And other thing which was projected, again, which is intangible, that's a peculiar orientation, community orientation of the people and living in the small poles. What kind of strong community feeling they had, and which held this entire city together for a long time. Almost 400 years, it was held back by the strong community feeling.
Your experience in this entire movement to be the World Heritage Site, what did it mean to you? What does it mean now? How was the journey?
See, the whole idea was before the World Heritage tag. It was important because India has so many, nearly 7,000 historic cities in India, and it was a shame that not a single city was there, not a single World Heritage site or city in India. So when I started working in Ahmedabad, the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, the whole idea was create a system, create a awareness, create a legal process so that other cities can follow. One success story is that after Ahmedabad became World Heritage, Jaipur and Bombay, part of Bombay, has become also declared as World. But the process was initiated by Ahmedabad. And we thought how to, after doing all the homework, make the heritage regulations, heritage list, heritage department. So if you look at the management plan prepared by Professor Vasavada, for which was submitted to the World Heritage Committee, all these requirements are already been executed through the long. It took almost 10 to 15 years of work to prepare all these documents. How you attract the administration. So we thought, let's call all the World Heritage City from Asia, because Asia has very less World Heritage. So we organized from the municipality the Asian World Heritage City Conference in 2010, and there Mr. Modi was the main person, and Times of India actually published a book of all the articles they have been doing for. That book of Times of India is been inaugurated by Mr. Modi that time as Chief Minister and we called people from all the heritage cities of Asia, and that opened up people's mind. And then municipality thought, and Mr. Modi thought, why not make Ahmedabad also apply for World Heritage? So it is a system, and after that it took almost 7 years of work. It's a very lengthy process of documentation, continuously keeping the spirit alive, and the journey was, and that became the World Heritage City. So what happened, that Ahmedabad not only made this city World Heritage City, but inspired the whole all the Indian cities of India to go for it. So it is a much bigger achievement.
And you said that 2010 you applied for it, and it took 7 years finally to get the tag.
No, there are two stages. First, you have to get into the World Heritage. You have to first get into the tentative list. So in 2011, Ahmedabad got into the tentative list, and then once you are tentative list, only then you can go for the second go. So then after that, it took almost 7 years. I mean, 5 to 6 years to prepare the dossier, which is a big team in Sept, under the guidance of Professor Vasavada. is been documented, and that document is also in the net. One must see the document, that how it has been prepared.
Okay, remarkable. And in your experience, both of you have noticed any other walled cities or cities in Gujarat that you think need immediate attention and also have potential to be World Heritage sites? Mr. Ghosh?
Well, I like various small portions of the various cities. Definitely, they are of very high quality. One of them I would refer to is Cambay. Cambay, as one of the major centers of getting the entire Western world exposed to Indian trade and commerce, it was an international center. So Cambay can be projected as a World Heritage City. Number two, excavation is necessary. I still believe no excavation proper has been done in Vallabhipur. It might bring out, but that is a different thing altogether. Existing cities, Gondal. Gondola has got every right to be selected as a World Heritage City. Old Gondal. I'm not talking of the extended Gondal, but old Gondal, Bhagwat Singh Ji's Gondal. That has got a right to be declared as a World Heritage City. Portion of old Baroda, it does have a right. I mean, it seems to me. I mean, these are very obvious. Then there are portions in every city which has got a unique thing which has got to be preserved. That's why I was saying that every district will have to have its list, its museum, and interpretation center in the museum to link up these things with present day life and past life.
Great. Mr. Nayak?
There are many, because it is a frontier zone and northwest part of India. There is to have lot of attacks. So every city had to have their own fort wall and protection. So the Gujarat, almost all Saurashtra in south. Right now, I'm working in Bharuch, the walled city of Bharuch. Then Junagadh. Then in Saurashtra, there are so many cities that they have these, and definitely Gondal and Patan itself, the wall is still there. I mean, part of the wall is still there. So Patan was the capital before Ahmedabad. So in Gujarat, actually, we have a massive footprint of walled cities, and I think we should be taken. In fact, unfortunately, the walls doesn't belong to the municipality, doesn't belong to the archaeology, doesn't belong to anybody. So there is nobody looks after the wall. So I think one need to have a legislation to really find out the ownership of this wall, so these wall cities could be protected.
Superb. And just last thoughts of both of you. Very rightly, both of you have pointed that in your experience of working in Ahmedabad and getting this World Heritage Site tagged to the city, it is not just about architecture, right? It is not just about having heritage building. Uh, you've observed that you need great social skills to make people reconnect and take pride in their space. And you witnessed that Ahmedabadis take pride in their city. Various stakeholders chipped in. Starting with you, Mr. Ghosh, early 90s to continuing today, Mr. Nayak, what would have been your experience?
Well, people have started taking pride in it, but only a section. They're very strong contestant. That contestant is the immediate financial pressure. Old cities across India is becoming the cheapest place for wholesale and retail trade. Be it Old Delhi, be it Old Ahmedabad. Take any old city the old Indore, it is the cheapest Agra. It is cheapest wholesale and retail trade center. You can have godowns in the deserted buildings easily at a cheap rate. So those are the things which are posing serious danger for the old city.
True.
It is this is the thing which has got to be very carefully seen, because commercial center
Yeah,
means
very rightly pointed out. Absolutely.
so this is the thing which an answer has to be found. Yes, commercial doesn't necessarily destroy the city, but commercial with go down with with stocking, that creates problem. and that takes up. People don't like to live in a place where next door is a huge go down. So this is what is happening. Go down is pushing out the old, and the trucks come, vans come, loading, unloading of the goods. That create nuisance for the people who are living there.
True. Mr. Nayak, your experience of people partnership,
Yeah.
people participation, various stakeholders
See,
that really made your pushed you and helped you in your job.
see the situation is very difficult to on the ground in all the world cities, all the historic cities of India. But you can look at everything. You can call a half empty glass also as a half full, and there are negativity as well as there are a lot of positivity. And Ahmedabad is almost like a textbook example of initiating that process. I mean, how you turn it over. And one of the things is that how you make it a knowledge center. Like Ahmedabad has got major institutes, and now what we managed to successfully that many institutes never been to the old city. So now many of them are doing thesis and studying the old city. There is only 2 or 3 books on Ahmedabad when it started. Now there are at least 20 to 30 books written on Ahmedabad. Now Ahmedabad's birthday is celebrated in a big way. Then this World Heritage Week in November is being celebrated in a big way. So and then hundreds of Havelis have been restored. There are also many Havelis which have been demolished. But Ahmedabad is the first city in India where they people actually apply for building repair plan. I think the Heritage Committee with Mr. Ghosh as chairman, I think nowhere in India that people actually there is a document where people submit to the municipality for getting his house or her house restored. So and also we have work on the first plan for the disaster management. So we have this unique fire engines which has been bought by the municipal corporation to prevent fire in the back lanes. So there are a lot of efforts are there, lot of community initiatives are there. It is a continuous battle, and I think that the journey has to be. But the things are set. Ahmedabad is there. And the heritage department is now a big department, the only heritage department maybe in the country. And so Ahmedabad set all the right parameters, and see only in future we know that what is going to happen.
Superb. And just your final thoughts, starting with you, Mr. Nayak. Ahmedabad as home. How would you describe that?
When you spend nearly 25 years in a place, you put your roots, and you like certain foods, you like attend several festivals, you get invited in. As a Bengali, like going to the Bhatiyar Gali to have a special food and a wonderful travel around in Ahmedabad, also in Gujarat overall. So you feel comfortable, and you pick up the phone and call somebody, and you get responded and supported with your new ideas. And as Mr. Ghosh rightly mentioned, that people of Ahmedabad, if you pursue them, they really come out and support you. So whatever the ideas we get, and you get the support from Ahmedabadis. Even Rabindranath Tagore used to come to Ahmedabadis to get support for Shantiniketan. So there is a big support from the citizen, and that is the very good example, and do that. So we are continuing and enjoying that wonderful relationship with the citizen here.
Okay. And Mr. Ghosh, Ahmedabad as home.
I returned in 2003. The question came in,
Okay.
where do I settle now? I asked my wife. 3 options were there: Calcutta, Delhi, Ahmedabad. My wife said, without saying it, Vatican, I did Ahmedabad. I said, why? She said, here the people are gentle. Ladies can move about freely in the night, even with jewelry on. There is no scare. I can't do that in Delhi. I can think that Calcutta is comparatively safer, but even then, there also I'll be thinking twice before I went out. But Ahmedabad is absolutely safe for the ladies, and that should be the criterion for selecting this place. I say, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah, rightly said. Okay,
So,
great,
okay.
great. And any final thoughts on Ahmedabad that you would want to share with our viewers, which you want to share with us? Something that has stayed with you about the city, something that you think that more and more people should know, Mr. Nayak?
I feel that people imagine something and then work for it. And in Ahmedabad, I had a very impractical and fantastic dream that to how to make Ahmedabad as a heritage city. And I think one have to be very thankful that it actually happened, which is the most difficult thing to achieve. So that way, I am quite happy, and we recently just discovered that Gandhiji actually started a heritage department in the university he founded in Gujarat Vidyapith. So we found the document, and he collected around 10,000 books on heritage. So we are now reviving that Gandhiji's heritage department in Gujarat Vidyapith, and again getting support from the people. So Ahmedabad is a place you have a dream and it gets fulfilled mostly.
Remarkable. And your final thoughts, Mr. Ghosh, on Ahmedabad?
I find Ahmedabad's history so rich. At the same time, uh, that interpretation center, which will be making people again and again conscious and re-conscious of this heritage, that is lacking. I would like a number of interpretation center across the old city, which will be rekindling that interest in our own people in Ahmedabad. I was mentioning about the commercial aspect, mercantile aspect. And
Mhm.
mercantile aspect and the philanthropic things and the Western connection, I find an immense scope for reinterpretation of old Ahmedabad history. And Ahmedabad history is, in a sense, Gujarat's history.
Rightly said. Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghosh, Mr. Nayak, for taking us through this World Heritage City of Ahmedabad. It's been a pleasure speaking with both of you, the men who initiated it, and with a lot of support from local authorities and tourism bodies, made the seemingly impossible task of getting the World Heritage Site tag possible for City of Ahmedabad. Thank you so much for taking time out and talking to us at Passion Talk.
Thank you very, very much.
And for all our viewers, our Passion Talk series of Discovering Gujarat continues. So keep watching to discover this gem of a state. Thank you.